Hey, afternoon, Sunday afternoon. I wanted to share with you something for the afternoon today. Sunday afternoon Golden Nugget inspirational moment. Sunday afternoon motivational moment. Took me a nap and took a little nap and I little thought came to my mind. I thought I'd help you with it. I use a word a lot. uh, and I must apologize because maybe I use that word a little too loosely. What I want to give is a little information to you that may help you make it the rest of the day. Get prepared for Mondays. Thank you for the new subscribers. Like we gained 13 and we went away from 400. I'm thankful for that. Thank you, viewers. I hope you've enjoyed the music today. Giving you a little bit of Hezzy. We give you a little bit of Milton Brunson. We give you a little bit of. We gave you a little bit of. Yeah, Hezzy and Milton, and we hope you enjoyed it this morning. Uh, Let me help you, and I'll move out your way. I use a word a lot, and it's probably used a little loosely, and I must apologize. The word grace. Um, Thought come to my mind. Old Paul wrote a little something over in Corinthians. I think it is. Yeah, Corinthians 12 and 9. So the grace is sufficient, and for you, in His power, make you perfect in weakness. And you know, the word sufficient basically just says that you give me just enough for a requirement. Basically, is what that word sufficient means. And although I don't have any grace to give, Paul said that the Lord told him the grace is sufficient. I talked to you a little bit this morning. We talked about content. We talked about being blessed. And I just want to talk to you about sufficient grace. You know, a lot of time we assign ourselves to powers that we don't even have. And I'm guilty of it. We all guilty of it. But when I woke up, a song was popped in my mind by Milton Brunson, God's Got It. The song came out, I think, in the 80s. I was a big fan of Milton Brunson. Uh, you know, when we take on authorities that we don't own, when we copyright, you know, and we give God a copyright infringement, and we take on, words, titles, positions, situations that even our arms are too short to reach, and our minds are too small to fathom. Sufficient grace means just what it says. Sufficient grace. He's going to give you just enough grace to meet your requirement to pass your test. And, I've noticed that when we were kids, taught to say grace. We heard songs, Amazing Grace. And now here we are, talking about Paul. He said that God gave him sufficient grace. And you ever heard the expression, he may not come when you want him? And that's true. But he's always on time. That's he gives us extension. He gives us just enough so we can meet the deadline. And I tell you, we live on borrowed time. As the saying, the hourglass slowly empty out. Even though we have a situation that we deal with from time to time, although we have battles in our mind, we have battles in our finance, marriage, employment, setbacks. Some even go through long-term Job experiences. And if you live long enough, you're going to have something. But if you just keep in your mind that you got something coming, it's going to help you. You have an advocate to get you where you need to be. Remember, I told you this morning, you might not have everything you want. See, sufficient extension. Sometimes he'll even give you an extended amount of time. That's grace. Isn't it funny that ones we assume have it all together don't really have it together. Mm-hmm. But God will spin the block, turn some tables over in your life, rearrange some things, get you realigned with your purpose and your destiny, giving you sufficient grace to meet your requirement. What is the requirement? The requirement for us to get extended and or sufficient grace is to be delightful. How do we become delightful? We become delightful by focusing not on the bill, singular and or plural. But I heard a little cute chubby girl from Detroit, Michigan say about 21 years ago that the safest place, help you, in this whole wide world is not in the bill, but it's in the will. need extended grace, you got to stay in his will. Well, Brother Deep, let me tell you, when you step out the will, I'm a witness, you'll have more problems than bills. Trust me, sufficient grace will take you to a place where others will be ashamed to show their face. Why? Because you have remained where you need to be. Sometimes it's not where you are going, but it's where you are. Because sometimes you can be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's why it's always good to stay focused. It's always good to stay in his will. Because even though we make blunders, let me just say this too. Even though we have bloopers in our life, even though we have boo-boos in our life, we fall in the air. Aren't you glad that even though when people might be fed up with you, some might even cut off the supply of resource, some might even cut off the connection that you might have when it comes to friendship. But aren't you glad that there's someone named God that when folks unplug you, he'll come back as an advocate with a generator and give you sufficient grace and strength to make it to the next day, the next phase, the next level. So you'll be more equipped to fight the devil. Can I help you? Can you do me a favor? Just do this for me. Just do this for me. Lettuce, I'm sorry. Lettuce, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lettuce. Lettuce said, if you don't mind, would you do this for me? Could you take and read that today 3 times? Just 3 times. Corinthians 12 and 9. Can you read that in your spare time? Matter of fact, when you lay down tonight, can you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed, ask the good Lord to deprogram your thinking process so that you might be able to comprehend and understand that he will give you sufficient grace, just enough, which ends up more than enough that you need to make it. Yeah. I thought about Potter. Shout out to Dietrich Haddon, wherever you at. Dietrich Haddon came out with a song called The Potter. I don't know who that was singing with him. But there's something about a potter. Making a little. And then sometimes the potter might have made a mistake or an error in creating this, you know, or you might have and then the mistake come, and then the potter has to make a decision. Do I keep this the way it is, or do I start over again? And you smash it down, and the pieces put back on the pedal. He starts remaking again, and sometimes she, witness, sometimes he would take and remold and reshape your situation because you got out the wheel and got in the way, and he had to smash you and rebuild you up again. And it's something about when people build you up, right? They give you, sometimes they overload you, or sometimes they selfish and might not give you adequate what you need. But the potter, he because we fearfully and wonderfully made, and he's a manufacturer, so he already knows that we might have to just start from scratch. We might have to do some remolding and rebuilding, and plug a little putty here, a little putty over here, and then smooth it out, and then get it. And then when you get your finished product, you've been given adequate time. Sometimes your sufficient might not be my sufficient, but picture it's that song today by JDWick, the potter, and read that 3 times. 2 Corinthians 12:9, and I want you to rest in that, because sometimes you get yourself in a corner, and you kind of feel hopeless. You've been there. And sometimes you feel like I just told you I had an experience where I tried to take my life in March. But sometimes the enemy, the adversary, put you get so bewildered with the toils and spoils of life. And I always refer back to this song by Matthew Lawrence and friends, "Don't Give Up." Because had there not been anything left that God could use, He'd have let me go on. In my sin, messed up, but He give you chances. He I always say His time is not our time, but He gives you sufficient time to meet your requirement, and I'm grateful for that. And about a week after I came home from the hospital, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna tell you what I did. I started going through my mind, started counting blessings. I started looking through pictures. I started having flashback on where I was. He reminded me that if I got you through this, I'm going to take you through that. And if I took you through that, I'm definitely going to get you through this. And there's a reason why He gives us chances, because He sees in us what we don't see in ourselves. He even sees in us what others can't see. And you might not see your potential now, but if you delight yourself, witness, He'll give you what you not only need, but He'll give you what you ask for. A good book, He said, "Word don't return void." And you hear me say a lot, you reap what you sow. That's also in the good. So if you give up early, See, the blessings that he has tailor made for you, it's not something you can leave in a will, because that blessing is tailor made for you, right? So when you close your eyes, that blessing is already been made for you. He's not going to go back and, you know, do the remix and hand it to somebody else. And that's why he gives us sufficient grace. That's why he gives us time, you know. And that's why I always tell people, time, you can't control it. But you can manage it. And if you manage your time in your 3-part day, if you manage your time, when grace comes, you know, when that little bit of sufficient grace comes, see, you can appreciate it. And when you've been through different situations, grace, that word is more important to you. I appreciate the time I gave you, 22. I'm going to remain to be true. I love you, you, and even you. Thank you again, you subscribers. I'd ask that you like, share, and subscribe just one more time. We almost at that goal of 400. Help me get there. And if you don't see me anymore today, I'll catch you early tomorrow morning for Monday Motivation on this station. And I'm Brother D Bam. That's who the heck I am. WTRUTH. And I'm here for you. Take care. I told you.